Okay, let's dive into one of the most incredible stories of human ingenuity ever. We're going to talk about the journey from sending a single, simple message across a wire to connecting the entire planet, wirelessly, right in the palm of your hand. It is an amazing story of sparks, of light, and of invisible waves that have completely, and I mean completely, reshaped our world. Just think about this for a second. Back in 1844, sending a message instantly from Washington, D.C. to Baltimore, well, that was basically magic, a miracle. But today, we jump on a face-to-face video call with someone on the other side of the globe, and we don't even blink. It's so seamless, so integrated into our lives. The technology behind it has become almost invisible. So the big question is, how on earth did we make that monumental leap? Well, it wasn't one single light bulb moment. It was much more like an incredible innovation relay race, where each new technology grabbed the baton from the last, building on what came before to conquer the huge, huge challenge of distance. And who was the first runner in that race? The electric telegraph. This was it. This was the tech that first proved that instantaneous long-distance communication wasn't just a fantasy from a book, it was actually possible. When Samuel Morse sent that first official message, he didn't just type out hello. He chose this phrase, "What hath God wrought?" And that says it all, doesn't it? It's just filled with this sense of awe and wonder, and it perfectly captures how people felt, like humanity had just unlocked this power that was almost beyond belief. So how did it even work? Basically, Morse code turned the alphabet into a series of electrical pulses, dots and dashes. By shooting these signals down a long copper wire, you could suddenly digitize and send information, replacing a horse and carriage with the speed of electricity. These were, and this is no exaggeration, the world's very first text messages. But, wiring up cities is one thing. Connecting entire continents is a whole other ballgame. The tech evolved from sending dots and dashes to actually carrying human voices. And after decades of trying, the first really successful transatlantic telephone cable, called TAT-1, came online in 1956. And its capacity, get this, just 36 phone calls at a time, for the entire ocean. A mind-blowing achievement for sure, but also a huge sign that we were going to need much, much bigger information highways. And that right there brings us to the next leg of our relay race. How do you get past the limits of a single copper wire? Well, you either have to go above the Earth or you have to totally reinvent the wire itself. So to really get this evolution, let's think about it like this. Those first copper wires connecting our towns, they were kind of like local city streets. Yeah, they were essential for getting around, but they could get clogged up pretty easily and they definitely weren't built for super long-haul trips. So, to cross the massive oceans, what did we do? We built bridges in the sky. Satellites, like the trailblazing Telstar 1 back in 1962, could literally bounce signals across the Atlantic. This is what made those first live transatlantic TV broadcasts possible, connecting cultures in a way no one had ever seen before. But even sky bridges have their limits, right? For the insane volume and the blazing speed of data we demand today, we needed something else entirely. We needed bullet trains. And that is exactly what fiber optics are for our information. This game-changing idea, which was proposed by Charles K. Cow in 1966, was to stop pushing electricity down a copper wire and instead send information as pulses of light down these hair-thin strands of super pure glass. It works because of a cool principle called total internal reflection, which basically turns the glass fiber into a perfect mirrored tunnel for light, letting it just bounce along for miles with almost zero signal loss. And this leads to one of the biggest misconceptions about the internet today. We all talk about the cloud, right? But here's the crazy truth. The huge majority of international data, we're talking your emails, your Netflix streams, your video calls, it doesn't travel through the air. It travels as light through these massive bundles of fiber optic cables that are laid all over the ocean floor. Okay, so we've built this incredible global backbone with light, but there was one last crucial step in this race. How do you deliver all that power and connectivity to us, wherever we are, without needing to plug into a wall? It was time to cut that final cord. And this kicked off its own super fast-paced relay race, the mobile generations. 1G, that just gave us analog voice. Then, Bam, 2G came along and added texting. 3G brought the internet, clumsy at first, to our pockets. 4G gave us the speed we needed for smooth video. And now, 5G is here to connect, well, pretty much everything. So what makes 5G such a big deal? I mean, it's not just about being faster, though it is, way faster, up to 10 times faster. The real revolution is in two other things. First, ultra-low latency. Just think of latency as that annoying lag in a video call. 5G makes that delay practically disappear. And second is massive capacity. This means it can connect millions of devices in a small area without the whole network grinding to a halt. It's like turning a two-lane road into a freeway with a million lanes. So we've run this whole race, from a single spark in a lab to a global wireless web. But what was the point? What's the finish line? You see, the real impact isn't the technology itself. It's how that technology has fundamentally reshaped our world and, our lives. That wired infrastructure, it laid the foundation for our entire modern economy. The telegraph didn't just speed up the news, it literally created the conditions for modern banking. Those undersea cables synchronized the world's financial markets for the very first time. And the ridiculous bandwidth of fiber optics, that's what made cloud computing and streaming movies on demand just a normal part of our day. And then, cutting the cord transformed how we live and interact with each other. Satellites gave us this shared global culture through live TV events. And now, the instant response time and massive capacity of 5G are paving the way for things that used to be pure science fiction. Think remote surgery, truly smart cities, and factories that run themselves. So when you really step back and look at it, you see this beautiful, logical progression. The dots and dashes prove that long-distance communication was even possible. The undersea cables conquered the oceans. Satellites bridged the gaps where wires couldn't go. Fiber optics gave us the speed we craved. And finally, mobile networks put all of that power right into our hands. Every single step was absolutely essential for the next one. This whole incredible journey just shows our relentless, fundamental human drive to connect with each other. And it leaves us with one final, really exciting question. If we went from a single wire to a fully connected planet in less than 200 years, what do you think the next great connection is going to be?